Easy rivalers, and welcome back to my channel and another episode of MVP Every Match, advanced hero or a villain guides that will help you carry in your ranked games from a celestial player to you. I've been given early access to Emma Frost and I've got to say, this character is pretty cracked. Emma has the capability to carry because of her survivability, consistent hit scan damage, burst damage, and huge counter potential. However, you might be playing her wrong, or not at all yet I guess. This guide will hopefully point you in the right direction in becoming the coldest Emma Frost out there. As she's a brand new character, I want to very quickly run through her abilities with you. If you already know what they are, feel free to skip to tip 1. Let's first go through her abilities in her normal form. Emma's left click, her primary attack, is Telepathic Pulse. Fire a psionic beam to deal damage. The longer the beam hits, the higher the damage. Emma's secondary fire, her right click, is Mind's Aegis. Create a levitating barrier at the designated location. You can hold this down and then let go where you want it to stop. Emma's E ability is Psychic Spear. Seize control of an enemy's sentience. Damage dealt to the sentience cascades to the physical form and can be pierced by Telepathic Pulse. When the sentience shatters, it unleashes extra damage on its owner. Now, to get into Diamond Form, that's Emma's Shift ability. Activate Diamond Form to transform your attack style whilst gaining damage reduction and becoming unstoppable. So you basically become a tanky melee character and you can't be CC'd or stunned. Once Emma is in her Diamond Form, her left click becomes Faceted Fury. In Diamond Form, deliver a crushing double-fisted strike to the enemies. Emma's right click becomes Crystal Kick. In Diamond Form, unleash a flying kick forward and knock back enemies. Emma's E ability becomes Carbon Crush. In Diamond Form, lunge forward to grab an enemy and then execute a back slam to inflict damage. This is how you choke the enemies out. Extra damage is dealt if they're propelled into a wall. And lastly, let's talk about her ultimate ability, which is the same in both normal and Diamond Form. Psionic Seduction. Ooh. Project forward a psychic assault that stuns foes and prevents them from unleashing their ultimate abilities. If the effect lingers, it gradually commandeers their mind, forcing them to move towards Emma Frost. And lastly, let's talk about her team-up ability, which works with Magneto and Psylocke. Mind Link. Emma Frost can form a mental link with Magneto and Psylocke, calling on her to create illusionary projections. When together, Emma Frost will create a mental projection of Magneto and Psylocke, forming a duplicate illusion in the enemy's perspective that confuses foes by moving and casting abilities on its own. Okay, time for some tips. Let's kick this video off by talking about Emma's playstyle and how I think you should be utilizing her, and also who I think Emma will counter. Emma is an aggressive off-tank with tons of damage and is a combination of both Brawl and Poke. Poke in her normal form and Brawl in her Diamond form. You can play her in the front line with your other tank and picking off squishy enemies when you get the chance to, but also as an anti-dive bodyguard for your healers. Her Diamond stance is amazing at helping your healers out, which I'll go into more detail later on in this video. She's going to be a great answer to defensive ults in this game and fit into the meta really nicely. As Emma's hit scan, she's going to counter flying characters such as Iron Man, Storm, and Human Torch, and maybe Ultron when he comes out. She'll also play great into tanks that don't have a shield, targets with large hitboxes like Punisher and Squirrel Girl, and dive heroes like Panther, Spider-Man, and Magic. This tip is all about getting the most out of her beam, which as we know, builds damage over time the more you hit someone with it. Think Symmetra from Overwatch. A great way to use Emma's beam is to charge it on a big target like a tank, and then swap to a squishy target and melt them quickly. Use the tanks on the enemy team as an easy way to charge up your beam before taking out a healer or a DPS. Did you know Emma's primary attack also charges off of shields, which is absolutely amazing and maybe a bit OP. Once you whittle down an enemy enough, like a tank for example, use her crystal on the floor to finish them off with some burst damage. Right, for this next tip, I want to teach you Emma's one-shot combo. This is crazy. In her Diamond form, if you choke slam someone, it stuns them for long enough for you to land 2 punches and set up her kick. And if the kick hits them against the wall, it does even more damage. So her combo is as follows: choke slam, land 2 punches, and then kick them into a wall. You can reposition yourself as Emma in the second part of the chokeslam animation when she slams them on the floor. So make sure you're aiming at a wall to kick them into, or even off the map. If there isn't a wall nearby, then you should land 2 punches, then chokeslam, 2 punches, and then kick. Another combo you can do on Emma is all about using her E in her normal stance and then switching over to her Diamond form for more burst damage. Shout out to Marvel Rivals Merchant who found this combo. This combo is as follows: E, Diamond form, punch, punch and then kick into a wall. This will kill a 300 health target and is a great source of damage. The reason this works so well is that you're hitting the crystal and the enemy at the exact same time, giving you more burst damage. This combo also works as a kill on a lower health target from a distance. Whilst I was recording this video, I've literally just discovered a third combo that you can do on Emma Frost. This combo is really great against any target with 300 health or less where there is no wall nearby to kick them into. This combo is as follows: E, diamond form, E again, punch, punch, right click, kick. This combo works well just like combo 2 because you're hitting the crystal and the enemy at the same time and getting crazy burst damage. For this next tip, I want to talk about using Emma's E ability efficiently. When using this ability, you're going to want to aim through it so you're hitting both the enemy and the crystal at the exact same time. This way, you'll get more damage out of it rather than just shooting the crystal alone. A fun thing about the crystal is that it breaks easier the less health the enemy has when you put it on them. So if you're at a distance and you want to swap over to your diamond form, it's worth throwing out the crystal first before swapping, as it only takes 2 punches in Emma's diamond form to explode it for massive burst damage. If the enemy is low, this might be enough to kill them just by hitting your crystal once. Also, by the time you come out of your diamond form, it'll be back off cooldown for you to use again. For this tip, let's focus on her choke slam ability, but using it in a different way. I want to point out that not only does it do amazing damage, but it also disrupts almost every single ultimate in the game. An important thing about Marvel Rivals, and a general tip you should listen to carefully, is having the read or knowing when the enemy team has their ults, and also when they're about to use them. I like to use Doctor Strange as a great example, as I think it's super obvious when he's about to ult. You will often see him push further into your team and then shift into the air. If you have this kind of read, use Emma's diamond stance and choke them out of their ult. This is going to be one of the best ways to use her choke slam, and sometimes saving it if you know you're about to get ulted creates huge value for your entire team. Let's talk about her diamond stance. Emma's diamond stance doesn't just look cool and allow you to choke the daddies of Marvel Rivals. It also makes you CC immune and lets you take way less damage. So make sure you're using her diamond stance as a defensive tool as well as a tool to brawl with. You'll be surprised at what you can survive, like a Scarlet Witch ult, and no, I'm not joking. And as I mentioned before, using your diamond stance to peel for your healers as an anti-dive tool is amazing. If the enemy team is running a Black Panther, Spider-Man, Magic, etc., Emma's diamond form is a great way to beat them up and use the one-shot combo I mentioned before to get up in their face and get them off your backline. For this next tip, I want to point out what I think is Emma's main weakness as a character and how you can play around it. And that's the fact that although she has great survivability, she doesn't have any maneuverability tools in her kit. So what does this mean when playing her? You're going to need to be really careful of your positioning on Emma, because if you land yourself in the wrong spot, it might be a tricky one to survive. You might be tempted to flank with her, and this can work quite well, but when it doesn't, it really doesn't. So make sure you're going for the healers in the backline once your team is already engaged in a fight and you're pushing into the enemy team. Okay, Rivalers, for this last tip, it's time to talk about her ult and how I think we should all be using it. Firstly, and this is huge, I discovered that before using your ult, it's really worth putting your E ability on the enemy first, as your ult also pops the crystal for extra damage. It might be worth using it on a tank who has a larger health pool and can be the difference in a group surviving or dying with one ult. I see her ult as one of the best combo tools in the game for someone else in your team to ult with you. When you pop her ult, it silences enemies from using their ult, and after a few seconds, any other abilities. This can really turn the fight in your favor. Use this ult and target the healers that might have a defensive ult and stop them from using it, and communicate this with your DPS on your team to combo with you. Her ult is going to be such an amazing counter tool to support ults in the game, and will allow ults like Psylocke, Moon Knight, and more to potentially wipe an entire team, or at the very least remove a healer ult from the fight, which we all know is huge value. This ult is going to be amazing at turning the tides of a fight, and using it in big battles is going to be incredible. If you can put these tips into practice, I promise you'll see improvements with your Emma Frost. You might want to try one tip at a time during each match and build on your skills this way. I'm looking forward to seeing all the amazing Emma plays once Season 2 releases. I hope you've enjoyed the video up until now, and if you've learned at least one thing, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm really pushing to hit 1,000 subs, so it would really mean a lot to me. Leave a comment below for any extra Emma Frost tips that I might have missed, or tell me what you're most excited about trying on this character. And until next time, Rivalers, as always, I hope you leg it down in your ranked games.